Today, we're going to be talking about alopecia areata, unraveling the mysteries of alopecia areata. With that and more, here at the Hairwire. And welcome, guys. Welcome to another session, to another episode of the Hairwire. I'm your host, Sergio Cardona, alongside with Bisan Dipsy. Biz, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm so excited about today, and I actually look forward to Wednesday to see you, my friend Sergio. We are miss
Aw.
we are missing Carrie today, but we will see her
Yes.
next week. And
You know,
I
I do believe that our weekly session
sure.
is like a support group kind of thing.
Yes, yes, and
I love seeing my friends. Every week.
it resets my head. It's like, okay, for this week I'm gonna do this and this and this. So I so look forward to this, and I'm
Yes,
so
we do.
happy to be here.
Yes, we are. And we are happy to join you guys. And I hope that you guys are enjoying our content here at the Hairwire, because we're providing this out of our hearts. We just love to inform and to educate and help people who are suffering with hair loss. This is what the Hairwire it's all about. So please hit the subscribe button, comment on our videos, and of course, hit the notification bell. So every time we go live, you can stay connected with us here at the Hair Wire. So also share this channel with everyone else. So let them know what's happening here at the Hair Wire, and we can comment on different things, and of course about the different subjects. The things that are happening in the hair hair loss world.
Yes, yes, a lot of advancement, and it is booming science right now. A lot of
Oh
advancement,
my
medical
gosh, it is.
advancement, holistic advancement. So we need to keep
So many
up.
great things are going on right now. It's amazing. I really love our profession, and our love how science is moving in such a manner. We're advancing by leaps and bounds. It's amazing. It's amazing. Just sorry about that.
I was like, wow.
Hey, it's live. It's live. I'm trying to share right now to the different groups and everything, but
Oh,
hey.
I see. So you're multitasking, and we know
Yeah, I'm not
that
multitasking
multitasking
right now.
it's hard these days. Yes, we just said that.
All right, so I'm gonna stop doing that. I'm gonna be talking to you guys, and then when this you start talking, then I'll do that.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So today we're gonna be talking about alopecia areata. Alopecia areata. What is alopecia areata, and how we can work around that? And Biz, you have a very interesting case, and we're gonna be talking about that in a moment. But what it is, alopecia areata? Well, very simply, it's a type of alopecia where you can see bald spots in different places on your scalp. Now, this is not limited to the scalp, but this is something that can happen everywhere where you see hair growth. So that includes your body, your face, everywhere. Everywhere where there's hair, you may experience alopecia areata. Now, the thing that makes it, easy to spot is precisely the circular spots that you may see in different areas where you may be losing hair. Now, these spots, they happens so quickly. They can appear from one day to another, very, very, very fast. And you may be wondering, why am I experiencing this type of spots? But we're going to be talking about that and more. So the thing about this is that you need to understand that about 70% of cases experience these alopecia areata events as a once in a lifetime event, which is very important. So if you just experience this just once, there's only a 30% chance of experiencing it again. Only 30% chance. So the odds are in your favor. If you already experienced alopecia areata once, or you're undergoing right now with alopecia areata, know that this might be your first and only event of alopecia areata. It can multiply, it can extend to a certain amount of time until it resolves. But once it resolves, you may not experience it ever again. So that's good in a way. And the other thing is that with alopecia areata, a lot of people have a tendency, have a tendency to believe that their hair will not grow back, and that's not it. With alopecia areata, it's not a cicatricial condition, so you may experience your hair back. You can recover. You can get your hair back. Okay, but you need to resolve the thing that is causing it in order to get that hair back. And the main issue here is dealing with the autoimmune response. And for that, Biz, I want you to get us working on and get us our mind going on what's going on with our immune system and why we experience alopecia areata in the first place.
So yeah, I mean, great explanation of how alopecia areata will look like, how people can identify it. As my friend Sergio was saying, the minute you see small patchy bald spots on your head, that is your first sign of you having alopecia areata. And I always say that God loves us in a way that it will give us signs, visual signs on our head, on our hair. We lose these patches to tell us more about, to look inward more in our body and see what is going on. And usually alopecia areata, as my friend Sergio was saying, it is most of the time is related to your autoimmune disorder or immunity. Basically, whenever your immune system is under attack or it is overwhelmed, these spots will start to appear. So there's two kinds of like immune dysfunction. First of all, the first, or the kind of mild condition, it is when your immune system is deficient in the main nutrients that supports immune system, which is zinc and vitamin C. This is when you are very deficient in these two elements, your immune response will start to slow down. And as we know, when we move in our days, we are waking up, we are most of our food is not healthiest food. We have toxins around us. There's so many chemicals and toxins that we deal on our daily basis. Even though we try to optimize our health and well-being to be eating healthy and so on, but we cannot escape all kind of toxins. We cannot escape all kind of chemicals. And that's why we get bombarded with these toxins on daily basis. So that's why we rely on our immune system to to protect us from all these bombardments on daily basis. So what happens if we are not, it starts with deficiency, simple deficiency like vitamin C and zinc. Really, if a person is deficient in these two elements, your body cannot take the daily bombardment from the outside world, and then you start overwhelming your immune system. And when you overwhelm your immune system, this is when autoimmunity issues start to appear. And one of the autoimmune diseases or issues, even it is alopecia areata, as a sign of immunity dysregulation. That's one part of it. The second part of it, it become like a chronic. So basically, what I was talking about an acute incident, right? You have deficiency in your immune system. It reached to a point you can't handle it anymore. It starts showing us as alopecia areata. There's another even way of thinking about it, is more chronically. When your system is bombarded with these toxins that we get bombarded with it each day, but also have something happen like you ingest bad food. There's an E. coli in this food. There's a salmonella in that food. You have food poisoning. You have, let us say, you ingested like chemicals. Like now I love how I want to say that on a side note. Now I love how everybody is talking about Kellogg's and have red dye in it, and that is killing children and poisoning children. This is
Yep.
actually, this is one of the most important things that we as parents should look for, these dyes in the foods that these kids are eating. Or it could be not only from food we ingest, it could be an emotional bombardment, like a very strong emotional thing that happened to a person. It could be a disease. All these will trigger the chronic dysregulation of your immune system, and then your immune system will fail, and this is when it's called autoimmunity. When your immune system fails completely, you will have an autoimmune response. Means, what is an autoimmune response? Means anything you're going to eat, anything you're going to have, anything you're going to be bombarded with, it will be seen by your body as an invasion. So when you have autoimmune disease, once you reach that point chronically, and that doesn't happen overnight.
Yep.
It is like accumulation of so much dysfunctions and this dysregulation in your immune system. When you reach to that point, even if you eat lettuce, your body will say, no, 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 this is toxin. If you eat cucumber, your body will say, no, 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 this is toxin. And this is when
Mhm.
we have alopecia areata at its maximum, where a person can actually lose all this hair. It will start from bald spots, and as my friend was saying, quickly it will become bigger and bigger and bigger, and you will have alopecia totalis or alopecia universalis, depends on how advanced the case is. But in a way, this is when your immune system has failed you. and
Yeah.
and I don't want to sound very dramatic, but even that case can be reversed.
That's the beauty of alopecia areata, that it can be reversed. But the thing is about the intricacies about the immune response, because and each person is different. And we know and we understand now that about 80% about autoimmune disorders are gut related. That's given
Yes.
at this point, and we understand that. But there's a 20% that is not gut related, so we need to widen our scope in terms of things that can also alter our autoimmune system and give us an autoimmune response. For instance, we need to consider also our house. Are
Mm.
we accumulating mold? The paint that was used to in the walls, even the carpet, the materials, things that could, chemicals can run through it, and we may be overexposed to it because we are on daily constant contact with it. So you have to consider, each immune system is unique. And if everything checks out in terms of the gut, which is about 80% of everything that is causing it, then there's this 20% that you need to eliminate, rule out the things that are in your house, that are in your environment, even in the office that you work in or the place where you work in. What type of chemicals are you being exposed to? What's happening on the environment, what's happening around you. For instance, right now here in Puerto Rico, we have desert dust going right now.
Mhm.
And because of it, you have a lot of people experiencing allergies and of
Mhm.
course congestion and things of that nature. So that autoimmune response naturally could kick in. And people, particularly over here, people with seborrheic dermatitis, psoriasis,
Mhm.
can be more prone to have events of that nature because of what's happening right now in the environment. So even though it is the smaller percentage of the autoimmune response, but it's there, and we need to also address it. Now, because of the 80% of our autoimmune disorders are gut related, if it's already compromised, everything that can be added from the environment and from everything that is extra definitely is another aggravation to the process in which allows our body to express into a form of maybe alopecia areata, alopecia totalis, alopecia universalis, which basically they're cousins. This type of alopecias, they're cousins, run from one to the other. But we need to, check out what's happening, and the only way that we're going to be able to do that is, to visit a trichologist, visit a professional, and to understand what's going on first, and then we can have a treatment plan for it. And the reason why I mentioned this is particularly because alopecia areata are very easy to spot. But
Mm.
what about alopecia areata incognita?
Yeah.
That's not something easy to spot. And
Mm.
this is why having professional help is always the best whenever we're dealing with alopecia areata. Now, in terms of the expressions of alopecia areata, one of the things that you may see if you look very closely, or if you have a scope, one of the signs that we see are basically black dots near the follicle or inside the follicle. Basically, we may see yellow spots in the follicle as well. And we, of course, may see canogen follicles, basically follicles that are empty, but they're there because they already shed the hair. We may also see what we call exclamation point hairs. which are basically also, or fry hairs, which are basically short hairs, and the ends are very wide open, like something split, like a hair was broken, but it's very short, very close to the scalp. All right. We may also see that with trichotillomania, but it needs to be in a length where it's easy to pick for the nails, and of course for the fingers. But with alopecia areata, it's very close to the scalp. So whenever we see that, we may also see erythema with alopecia areata. And it is very common to see cases where they experience symptoms of almost seborrheic dermatitis. And I see this a lot with alopecia areata. You see the yellow dots, you see the scaliness, and you see the erythema that usually follows seborrheic dermatitis, but happening in the spots where you see alopecia areata. Now, how do we address this? How do we combat this? Is there a way in which you can get your hair back? Can you stop alopecia areata? Well, that's a very tricky question, because unfortunately you're dealing with an autoimmune response, and unfortunately, again, whenever you're dealing with it, you have to remember that you could trigger a bigger event. And this may happen as you're starting to treat alopecia areata. You may experience future spots, or that the spot got bigger and bigger and bigger before it starts to regrow hair and stops growing. So you have to consider that it is not because of someone's fault. It's just part of the process that may be accompanied when you are experiencing alopecia areata. So keep those things in mind, people, because we get desperate, and this is very normal, particularly if you have children with alopecia areata. My God, parents go they go frenetic. They
Right.
become the fine people. And what I mean by fine is an acronym for freaked out, insecure, neurotic, and emotional people. All right.
Good.
That's the fine people. Fine people, all right? The acronym for freaked out, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. Because this is how we get with our children. I mean, something bad happens to them, we want to resolve it like yesterday. And
Yes.
it's completely understandable. And same thing happens to adults, but when it's your kid, you go crazy. You go crazy. You want to chop people's heads and everything. But you have to understand that it's quite normal in a condition like this, in a scenario where someone you love is experiencing alopecia areata. You have to be mindful of these types of changes. But what can we do? What can we do? And for that, Biz, I want you to share with us
Mm.
about your case, your particular case, and
Yes.
we're going to be talking about this particular case, what has been done, and how
Yeah.
you help this little girl.
Okay. So, s- I lost
Yeah,
it again.
you need
Here
to
you go.
share it again.
Yes. Here you go. So, can you see that, everybody? You
Yes,
can
we
see
can.
it, right, Sergio?
Hmm.
Okay. So, I have this case, a very interesting case, and as Sergio was saying, it's heartbreaking in a way. I had this little girl who came to me in March of this early this year, having all these. You see my cursor too? These
No.
patches. No? Okay. So, and if you look at the first corner of picture on your left, this is the first when she came in. This girl, she is 3 years old, and she had these big spots, empty, basically patches on her head. On the front, also, it was all from here, missing hair, and she had a lot of patches in the back. This picture is just a side view, where the side view pictures of the spots were there. So if you can see, just I wouldn't go through all the results here. By time we start, you can start seeing the results from March to April to May to July until September. We reach to a point where she has a full head of hair. head of hair. It's a little bit thinning in the areas where the bald patches were, but they're still
Hmm.
growing, and they are shorter
Exactly.
hair right now because from March to September is not long time enough to get her hair as long as it used to be. So
Hmm.
what this girl came up to me as like her parents were like really really emotional about it. She's 3 years old. They went to a dermatologist, and dermatologist looked at her, and they gave her 5% minoxidil, and they gave her corticosteroids.
Sorry.
No worries.
Sorry.
No worries. So the 5% minoxidil, because she's 3 years old, what happened to her is even with 10 days use of 5% minoxidil, she started having facial hair. uh, I believe 5% minoxidil should not be used for little people. It's just too way too strong. And
Hmm.
her mom didn't like the fact that she's gonna go to school with a lot of facial hair. So
Exactly.
in a way, so when we sat down with the parents, and the first thing I did is I went back into her functional timeline. I want to see what triggered that episode, because for sure it is an autoimmune response. We know that it's alopecia areata. I did the microscopic analysis, and I saw, like my friend Sergio was saying, I saw the yellow dots, I saw the black dots, I saw the exclamation mark. The patches are not very rounded as usually it should be in a alopecia areata case, but this case I think it was so advanced and so aggressive. The patches lost its roundness, and they started to combine to each other. That's why we don't see perfect rounded patches as we
Hmm.
usually will see in an early stage of alopecia areata. So this is a more aggressive stage of alopecia areata. So after I make sure that it is a proper diagnosis, it is alopecia areata from the microscopic event, I wanted now to know what happened to have to trigger this autoimmune response, right? We went back into the functional medicine timeline back. Okay, from first, when did she was having birth, vaginal or c-section, because it will affect the gut microbiome of this little girl. It was she's breastfed or bottle fed, it will affect her gut microbiome. I really need to know that. And we went through her diet. What does she eat on daily basis? What amount of the junk food that she eat, what amount of the sugar that she eat, because junk food and sugars, we know with little bodies like this will gonna trigger a lot of inflammation. And junk food and sugar is not gonna cause the alopecia areata, no, but it's gonna put her body under a lot of stress, that one trigger from outside source is gonna trigger the alopecia areata formation. You got me? So
Hmm.
so she's like every other kid. She will, this is March, so we decided that with her talking to her mother, that this started after October, when all the kids went into Halloween trick-or-treating, and she ate a lot of sugar. And this is where her mom thinks that she started losing her hair until it came into this point. So great, we know that there was one trigger when she ate a lot of sugar on Halloween. Great, but that is not also the full answer. A lot of kids will eat sugar on Halloween, but doesn't mean that there's going to be having alopecia areata. We know that there was one more layer to the story, that this amount of sugar exploded the autoimmune response, right? We started going back and back until her mom said, oh yeah, beginning of that year, which is the Halloween of 2023, beginning of that year, she had a food poisoning episode. So they
Hmm.
went out for lunch or dinner with her parents, and the little girl went back home, and she started shivering. She started having um, how do you call that? Like the heart started to beat so fast. She's
Hmm.
starting. So her parents started to worry. They went her to the ER, and in the ER they did blood tests or whatever not, and they figured out that she has an E. coli in her system. So to kill the
Mm.
E. coli, right? E. coli is a very aggressive bacteria, and
Yes, it
we do
is.
have we all of us has E. coli in our systems. It's very common in food, but overcrowding of E. coli in her gut, where her gut couldn't actually excreted out. This is when E. coli took over her system, and she started to have kind of a food poisoning reaction. Her heart rate was starting to go so hard because her body, she's 3 years old, remember that, her body couldn't handle that pressure. So in any case, they went to the ER. The ER people gave her all the necessary things for a food poisoning event. So I am not sure what did they do, but I'm sure there's a lot of injections to clear the E. coli or to kill the E. coli. There's a lot of antibiotics in this kind of treatment. So that little girl had a lot of injections that has a lot of chemicals in it that cleared out the E. coli, but the chemicals stayed in her body because
Hmm.
every injection against food poisoning, they have chemicals to kill the E. coli or any other kind of bad bacteria, but also it has preservatives and it has a bunch of other stuff inside that injection to keep it like deliverable or preservatives or whatnot, right? So
Hmm.
we are thankful for Western medicine that they killed the E. coli right there and then. If it was not for that ER person, this girl may lose her life. So now we're good. Now she got discharged from from the hospital. Everything is good. But October came. She had so much sugar. The underlying condition, which is a lot of toxins from the chemicals that has been used during the hospital visit, all the antibiotics that has been used during the hospital visit, nobody cleared that out. Her gut microbiome was so bad in a way that when it got overwhelmed with sugar, it triggered an aggressive autoimmune
Wow.
response.
Let me stop you here for a second, because what you're mentioning is something that we see a lot, particularly with
Mm.
people when they go through different infections and they go to different antibiotics. And the thing that happens with antibiotics is that it will kill your
You
good and
need it.
bad bacteria on your gut. So basically, that gut lining is unprotected. It has no bacteria. At least the good ones are not there, and anything that you throw at it can cause a chain reaction. That's about it.
It's exactly that. So what
Wow.
happened in the beginning of 2023, when she had the E. coli food poisoning, all this antibiotic killed the E. coli. We need them to kill the E. coli, right? But it killed the good and bad. And she got discharged from the hospital with her intestinal lining like effectively gone.
Wow.
So from that point till October, she's eating anything she ate at that year or that period of time was not actually effective as food. Even if she ate a good steak, the iron will not be absorbed. Even if she ate a good bowl of salad, all the phytonutrients will not be absorbed. So this girl effectively was malnutrition from the minute she was discharged from the hospital till October.
Hmm.
And
Oh my
October came
gosh.
in. Right? So she had, so basically, let us say that is a period of 6 months, right? 6 months, this
Hmm.
girl, she's not getting enough nutrients. She's getting zero nutrients because all the villi and the intestinal wall were wiped off. And more of that, there was a lot of pores. There will be a lot of pores in the intestinal lining that all the food that she is going through the intestine will be leaked outside her bloodstream, causing what we call leaky gut. Leaky gut means
Hmm.
the food, since the intestine has these pores, they will just go from the intestine to the bloodstream. Your bloodstream is not equipped to deal with food particles. So your bloodstream will think these are toxins and viruses invading the blood. So white blood cells will go engulf these food molecules because they think it is toxins. So now
Wow.
this is how the autoimmune response started. It started in her bloodstream, and the toxins came from normal food particles in her intestine
Wow.
because she got discharged without after treating the gut microbiome.
Because that's a big problem, because you see, unfortunately, Western medicine, yes, they're very good at killing the E. coli bacteria.
We need that. We
Excellent.
need that. Otherwise, she
Perfect.
will die. Right.
Yes. But, they left her without the
After.
proper protection for her gut. I mean, here's the thing, guys. If you go through a antibiotic regime, perfect, go through it. Once
You
you
need it.
finalize, you need to repopulate your gut. And so using the right combination of pre-probiotics can definitely improve the quality of your gut, thus leaving you without, a leaky gut event. Because unfortunately, after those antibiotics, your stomach is so weak, and we all know about this, because after we go through a round of antibiotics, what happens when you
Mhm.
start eating greasy food? You get
Right.
diarrhea.
Right.
You get upset stomach. So you go with steamed chicken. You with gelatin. Your soda crackers. You go with a very light food, right? The type of food that almost feels like a hospital type of food, right?
Right.
But the thing
Right.
is, why? Because your gut lining is destroyed and needs to be
Done.
rebuilt again. And that's
Right.
amazing.
And we as adults, when we take antibiotic for 2 weeks, we feel like we are like hit by a bus, right? I just so so in a like so in a way, like this little girl, like I'm sure I'm sure like her body was just so tired, and because she's young, her body is more resilient than adults, so her body was worked up and worked up and worked up until October came in and she ate all this kind of sugary stuff. Her body was like, I'm done, I can't do it anymore. She collapsed, and she didn't collapse physically. This is where God magic is, or blessings are. She didn't collapse physically. Her hair started to fall, and this is exactly what I told her mom. It's a God blessing. I swear to God, it is a blessing,
Yeah.
because this.
How will you understand? How will you
How would
know
you
what's
know?
happening? Yeah.
Right. If she physically collapsed, her mom is going to take her to the hospital, and nobody will know what's going on. There's no test
Mhm.
for. They have to do it like they have to do specifically in an ANA test, which is an autoimmune disease test, to know if it's an autoimmune reaction or not. But in any
and,
case,
and even those are so generic that even
correct.
you
They're
know
not even right. Correct. So
close
in
as a
any way,
specific. Yeah.
it's not very specific. So in any way, her mom started seeing all these hair loss, and the patches start to grow and grow and grow until finally a friend of mine told her that you should go see Bisan about this case. She lost hope with the dermatologist. She lost hope what's going on. She didn't. Nobody gave her answers. So in any case, when I went into the functional medicine timeline and we discovered what is the root cause of the whole thing, it's like, okay, we're good. It is a leaky gut that triggers an autoimmune response. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fix her gut. That's it.
Now, Biz, I wanted to ask you about your evaluation process, because each trichologist, we work, a bit different. How long did it took you from the day that they started seeing you till you finally realized, what was going on? How long did it took you?
That consultation,
And that same
like 45
consultation.
minutes later, that's the consultation.
Wow, that's
That is
amazing.
in my consultation, it's I want to know, okay, there's a hair loss, I want to know why. Right, I
Hmm.
want to know why. And her mom thought it is the October event with that much sugar, because her mom saw the hair loss on that, I mean, right after Halloween. But that was not good enough answer for me. Sugar is bad for you. Sugar will give you inflammation, but sugar will not cause that much reaction. So there was one thing before that happened. The sugar was the straw that, what do you call that? The straw that blew blew away
Yeah,
everything. I don't know how. Yeah. So the
yeah,
sugar was.
same thing. I know what you're saying.
You know what they're saying? Yes.
Yeah,
The
but the
last.
thing is, in Spanish, we have a way to say it.
I know in Arabic I have a different proverb to say it, but yeah. I mean, the sugar, yes, the sugar, the inflammation, that sugar is bad for you. I'm not saying it's not good for, it's good. I'm saying it's so bad for you. But the sugar alone, one incident alone is not going to do this. to reach to that point, so that incident is going to break the alopecia areata response or the autoimmune response, something happened before that. And when I start
Yes.
asking questions, I said, no, 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 that's not that. Let's go back. And her mom's like, I don't know. And then she started thinking. I was like, oh, the beginning of that year, we went to the hospital. Does that count? I was like, yes, yes, stop. Why did you go to the hospital? She's like,
Hmm.
because this and like she told me the E. coli incident. It's like, done. That's it. It
Yep.
started with the E. coli poisoning. Her gut lining was destroyed. She lived this poor girl lived
Wow.
the whole year with no nutrients. It caused a lot of nutrient deficiencies. This girl was malnutrition. Basically, this
Hmm.
girl didn't eat any nutrient that year, like literally. Nothing was
Yeah, because
sticking. Anything will
even
eat.
if she was consuming it, it was not being absorbed. Period.
It wasn't. She will just, yeah. But they're more resilient than us. Now, if
Of
this
course.
kid, she was in her 20s or 30s, that autoimmune response will happen earlier, because we are
Hmm.
weaker as we age, because we have so many
Yes.
episodes of things that happen to us as we age. But this girl, it was her first episode through her life, right? That's her first one. So her body was fighting and fighting and fighting until the Halloween thing happened, and it just break everything else.
Now, talk to me about her treatment plan. Now, you identify this issue, which is pivotal. Without the proper identification,
Exactly.
basically, there's no
How would we
treatment
know?
plan. How we would
Right.
know exactly? So you need to know. And now that you know, what did you do, Biz? Now,
Great.
walk us through here to the process. You have here the pictures from March, April, May, July, up until September, which is a great recovery, by the way. Amazing results, very short period of amount of time. Love that. Walk us through it.
Yes. So basically, after the 45 minutes into the consultation, we figured out that it's a leaky gut issue. So here we
Mhm.
go. We're gonna first of all start healing the gut, right? Start healing the gut. The first thing I did for this girl is did a very gentle liver detox. What had happened
Nice.
the liver with the gut? Because the liver, because of all the bacteria and all the uh, how do you say that, like all the toxins that came into through her gut from the
Hmm.
E. coli incident passing to Halloween till now, all these are not properly got detoxed from her body. And so basically that will give us a very overwhelmed liver. If she is older, we will that will be called fatty liver, but she's still very young. But we know that her liver is very, very overwhelmed. So I gave her some herbs, tinctures that she will put under her tongue every single morning. Her mom will put her under her tongue to to not detoxify, to support her liver. Basically the herbs are dandelion, artichokes, and like a bunch of other um, herbs in a tincture. When she take it on empty stomach, it will actually support the pathways of the detoxification pathways of her liver. So first of all, we're going to make the liver healthier. So it help us detoxify the gut, because if the liver is overwhelmed and we start with the gut first, the liver will have a problem with fatty liver later on. So first couple of weeks, let us slow down and just give the liver time to heal. Now, 2 weeks
Nice.
later, after the liver healed, now let's talk about the gut. We cannot start with probiotics right away. First of all, I
Hmm.
need to clean the gut, right? By giving her like a chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is a binder, is a very gentle binder. It will
Yes.
go because it's chlorophyll. It's the green substance in plants, and parsley and cilantro and all of the stuff. It's a really good binder, especially we're talking about 3 years old girl here. The chlorophyll went ahead and bind all the toxins out. Now we have a clean liver, a binder. Now we are ready to put a little bit of aloe vera in her system. Why aloe vera? Because I want to build up the lining of her intestine, right? When we
Hmm.
build up the lining of her intestine, and the lining of the intestines are now not porous, this is when we introduce pre and probiotics. You cannot introduce
Mm.
probiotics right away. You don't
Hmm.
want the bacteria to go there and don't know what to do. Or even worse, go out from the pores to the blood, and the blood will see them as toxins, right? So
Exactly.
So when we did the aloe vera and the chlorophyll for 4 weeks, now I see, of course, during that time, a good diet, no sugar, no sodas, no any inflammatory, no cheeses too, because cheeses are a little bit hard on the stomach. So no grains and no raw milk. So I
So
took like a couple of
basically,
things.
you want to remove milk, dairy products, processed
Gluten.
sugars, gluten. All
Mhm.
right.
Not because they are not good for you. No, these things are good for you, but her body cannot handle them right now. So we
Exactly.
took them out because her gut cannot handle big stuff like this right now. We took this stuff away. We cleaned up her liver. 2 weeks later, we give her chlorophyll to bind to the toxins and aloe vera to heal the intestinal walls. 4 weeks later, I gave her prebiotics and probiotics, and we started introducing yogurt, and we started introducing sauerkraut and all the fermented food, so the good bacteria will overpopulate the bad bacteria. We did another
Perfect.
gentle liver detox afterward, because now at this point, 6 weeks later, all the bad stuff are getting secreted. The good bacteria are killing the bad bacteria, but the die-offs of the bad bacteria needed to be excreted safely. This is
Hmm.
why the chlorophyll is good. And now we need another gentle liver detox so the liver can handle that as well.
Wow. Amazing.
After we do that, we gave her a good multivitamin and anti-inflammatory agent. Anti-inflammatory agent like Pine Park, because her body is so overwhelmed and so inflamed with all these changes that's happening. Even when you're killing the bad bacteria, sorry, yes, the bad bacteria, your body is inflamed because the body's doing work,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I put some anti-inflammatory agent in her body. I put some multivitamin in her body that are liquid based. I want this small body to be, these nutrients to be absorbed quickly. This girl cannot swallow pills, not because she cannot swallow pills. The pills will be so harsh at this point to get
Yes.
absorbed and to get digested by, we are talking about delicate digestive system right now. So I
And
we
we're talking about
introduced
kids,
it.
and kids are very hard,
Right.
to have them to do
Yes.
treatments of those sorts.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. And it was hard for her mom because her mom was a hero. You want to convince a 3 years old not to eat sugar or not to drink milk or not to eat something. I mean, like this
Good
is
luck.
this is not easy. Yes. I mean, I give it to her mom, like hands down. That's, yeah, convince a little girl that, right, Carrie? Convince a little girl, like, oh, you're not going to drink your milk today, or you're not going to have your cereal today.
Yeah,
It's just,
right.
but her mom understood. That is the power of the consultation, my friend. Her
Yes.
mom understood why we're doing that. By her understanding why we're doing that, she's like, yes, we're going to do it. And I said, now, even if I give you $1 million serum into her scalp, my love, that's not going to do anything,
Wow. And
because
I'm surprised. At this point, you're just working on the inside. You have not
I'm just
started
working
work
on
on
that.
the outside.
Why?
Wow.
Because there is no reason to work from the outside while the body's trying to heal. First, let us address all the problems in her gut. Let the inflammation goes down. Let her body calm down. And then I'm going to go and stimulate her growth. I'm not going to ask her body to detox the liver and heal the intestine and create a new bacteria and stimulate her follicles. I mean, how much her body can do,
Yeah.
right? It took us literally 3 months. So from March to April, May, I am not doing any hair stimulation yet. This is all her body is healing itself,
Wow. Wow.
because she's still young. She can do that. Now, if she's above 20 or 30, I'll do
This,
both.
if
Maybe
you're
I'll
able if
start.
you're able to zoom in on the pictures, so that our viewers can get a better close look at those
Oh,
first few months.
right. So this, the lower part, March, April, May. This is the three first pictures on the lower corner, this is
Hmm.
this is just her body healing itself. This is where her mom took all the dietary stuff away, no sugar, no everything else.
Hmm.
And this is where, like from March to April, this is when I start cleaning her gut. April to May, her liver is 100% proper, and this is only the results of her healing. I introduced the external stimulation in May after this May visit.
Wow.
This May visit, when she came here, and I said, okay, Sergio, when she came to me in March, her face was yellow. There is no life in her face. Under her eyes, like the under her lids was like white. There's no life in her face. She came in
Wow.
May. In May, she was pinkish. The girl was pinkish. Life came back to her face. Because from March to May, her body excreted all the bad stuff and start rebuilding itself, and she start reabsorbing the nutrients. I'm
Hmm.
giving her water soluble nutrients, and she's eating properly, like the nutrients from food has been absorbed. When I saw her life in her face, I said to her mom, it's time to stimulate these patches so we can have a faster recovery. If I
Yes.
did that in March, I will actually not even, it's not going to work. I will actually induce an opposite reaction. I will shock the other hair follicles into go into telogen again. Why? Because when I'm
Mm. Hmm.
stimulating from outside and her body is that weak and that toxic, her body will not allow that to happen, and actually it will overwhelm her body, and all the other hairs will go into shock.
Yeah, because the thing is, you are overworking the system while you're trying to heal. So there's no way that you're going to be able to do both processes at the same time.
100%. See?
Wow.
So now in May, when she came back in May, and the color came back to her life, then I said to her mom, now we're gonna stimulate the scalp because we want a little bit of a faster recovery. So the girl starts seeing the results and the mom starts seeing the results, and it will be more calming for everybody. So in May, we start doing some hair stimulation. July, September, we have full head of hair. So it took us 4 months from May to September to have full head of hair. And here, if you see in September, they are just short. There's
Exactly.
nothing,
Yes.
they're just
Yes.
short.
But you
There is
see
no
the
bald spot
complete
here. They're just,
coverage. The hair is
Mhm,
short, but you see complete coverage, and that
correct.
is amazing, amazing, amazing stuff, Biz.
Yes,
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. I mean,
thank you.
I mean, Biz is such a pro. You know,
Thank you.
hands down, hands down. That is
Yeah.
amazing results right there. I'm
And
astonished by it.
it warms my heart when her mom starts seeing the hair coming back. Her mom was crying.
I mean,
And
I
that
will be crying as
alone,
well.
I
Yes.
know that alone is that's all what I want.
That's amazing. I mean, guys, if you're watching this, this is one of those shows that you just don't want to miss, and you want to replay it every time. Why? Because you're watching right here. You see this case, this particular case, this little girl, um, 3 years old, right? She came
Yes,
in
she's 3 years
March. Biz was able to spot on with the diagnostics and work her insides up until May. Then on May, she started to adding external treatments, and by September, she was completely covered. That is amazing, amazing stuff, Biz. Amazing stuff. And guys, if you want more information, you all you have to do is click on the hair wire, visit thehairwire.com, and if you want to have a consultation with Biz, where can people find you?
You can email me, bisan@gmail.com. My email is super easy. I have, it's just my name at gmail.com. Cannot be easier than that. I have a Facebook, Hair and Wellness by Bisan, and you can reach me on Instagram, hair wellness _ Bisan, or just go to the Hair Wire. You're going to find me there.
Definitely. This is amazing. I'm gonna wrap it up. I was
Yes,
I was thinking about showcasing some of my cases, but nah. I'm just gonna
we'll
leave
do
it
that
with this
next
one.
week.
Yes, we'll do that next week because definitely this is one of those cases that you want to soak in all of this information because sometimes we get desperate, particularly as parents, we get desperate and we do not understand the process and how delicate it can be. You were able to see that you needed to start it with a liver detox and then to support the system, and then do another liver detox again, and then add in the nutrients. And after you added the nutrients, then you started doing the work on the outside, which I found brilliant, brilliant. But the thing is, understanding, guys, that when you're going from one phase to the other, having
Thank
an
you.
expert to understand when to move
Thank you.
from one step to the next,
That's
that's the key. Because
yes,
unfortunately we see a lot of people that they want to start doing treatments right away, right? And they focus on one single treatment, and they do not understand that you work this in stages. This is what happens first, then after I see certain things that I know that
right.
this is time to move on to the next area, then I jump into uh, the next cycle, or to the next set of events that will allow me to keep the momentum, because this is what many people do not understand. You're building momentum, and
Right.
to build momentum, you need to know when to hit the next step. And this
Correct.
is something that only experts are able to do. And when you have an expert like Bisan, my gosh, you're covered. You're covered.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank
So yes, no, no. Biz, you are a wonderful trichologist and a functional medicine expert, even more. So
you.
hey, kudos to you, and I'm glad for you, for that little girl and her parents, because they trusted a full professional and they got full results. That's what you get. And it's amazing. It's amazing. Good stuff. Can't say more. Can't say more. I'm excited. I'm excited about this case, Biz.
Thank you so
And when I
much.
when I saw the pictures the first time, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. This is
It's so
so good.
heartwarming.
And at the same time, I love the simplicity of your treatment plan, because in many places you will be bombarded with so
Right.
many
Thank
stuff
you
at the
for
same
saying that.
time.
Thank you for
And
saying that.
yes, because it's about understanding where you are for each case. And there are cases in which, yes, you may do the whole kitchen and sink thing, throw everything at it. But having the patience and having, of course, the maturity, uh, to be mature enough as a professional to understand, no, 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 I need to slow down things. This is not something I can rush. This is something I need to work very delicately, because you understood from the get-go what was happening to her because of the E. coli event that she had, and you understood right away that there's no other way to work around this. You need to definitely clear this out first before you can
First.
move
Right.
to anything else, and that
Right.
takes quite understanding. And um, again, it is the experience. I mean, you're talking to a foot professional here, guys.
I like that. I like that.
you know,
And I like that.
please, this
I,
is the
I
Nissan.
know. um, uh,
I
and
said the
and and
Italian
if
way
I
because she's very good Italian. And this is why.
yes, yes, yes. Yeah, the Italian way is the best way. Yes. Go watch the
Guys,
Italian Job. That's my favorite movie.
guys,
But
we want to let you go today, and I want you to thank everyone for tuning in today in the comments. Our friends Kerry Jarrett, and of course the other people who have been commenting today. Thank you, guys. Thank you for tuning in today. We see you next week. Biz, amazing work. God bless you. And again, if you want to visit Bisan, visit the Hair Wellness by Bisan and look for her on Instagram, Facebook, and of course, you can contact her through the Hairwire. Visit thehairwire.com. Thank you, Biz. Thank you, everyone. God bless you all. We'll see you next week. Till then, bye bye.